Greetings, sunshines and sunnies. It is I, Queen J Lotus, King Sunkiss, coming at y'all right quick, right fast, certainly for an 11/11 message. I almost said marriage. That can't be a coincidence, okay? Marriage might be on the horizon for someone or somebody's, all right? So yeah, it is 11/11 today. It is November the 11th. So we got some messages from angel number 1111, specifically the portal that is 1111. Now, without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and get into the specificities of this read now. Because 1111 is like very common in pop culture. This is a time where I'm not going to do too much background information on the angel number 1111. What I will say is that it has a lot to do with the frequencies of mirroring, the frequencies of alignment, like excellent alignment, divine alignment, as well as parallels, things of that nature. So the gifts of 1111 are infinitive and are most specific to one's relationship with themselves, as well as their relationships with other people, other beings, entities, energies, all of the things. So I ain't gonna waste no more time. I'm gonna go ahead and get right into the specificity of the card that we have for this day. So I actually did not do a traditional shuffle for the card of the day. It was sent to me. Literally the way that angel numbers are often sent to us. You know, you look up and you see or hear the number somewhere repetitively. You hear it in your number amount of the price you have to pay for something, or the number amount of the change that you're receiving from paying for something, or the number amount of, you know, the time that's on the clock, the number amount of whatever a barcode is on some item or whatever. So similarly is how this 9 of Wands kept popping up. It was the top of the deck, bottom of the deck energy for a lot of the tarot cards that I had out, like both that I was using and cards that were just sitting in my box. And I so happened to look up, down, and around and see it's the 9 of Wands. Also, a card that flipped out of one of my oracle decks is the Harvest card, which is the 9 of Wands energy of that specific oracle deck. And in general, the 9 of Wands is a card about and of the frequency of harvest. So all that being said, we on the edge of glory, and we're hanging on a moment with you. We on the edge, the edge, honey. Yes, God. So that being said, once again, we're dealing with the 9 of Wands. This card is about the wounded warrior that is still full of resilience, hope, fight, okay, might, all that. And they're having knowing that they are on the edge of the official win of the entire war. And so they don't want to stop. They want to just keep going. They want to just keep going and go ahead and knock out them last, few things and such. So it's great to have that resilient energy. And it's a need to gather an understanding of how best to balance and use it. Because the reality is, if you're wounded, yes, it's impressive to be able to keep on fighting despite the fact that you are wounded. However, it's also stupid to be trying to fight and you got one arm hanging off. It's one thing to be simply wounded. It's another thing to have severe blows still pouring, leaking, rickety, So that being said, being called to action to take a leap of faith, and the leap of faith is no leap at all right now. and that may sound crazy, but it's faith in resting. Because the obsession comes in where you're like, okay, I'm right there at the finish line, and I gotta go ahead and go, because there's fear that is rooting that, because you're like, if I don't hurry up and go, then these wounds might take over me. Or if I don't hurry up and go ahead and get to the finish line right now where I'm at with it, then everybody might think that I'm weak, or they might think that I'm foolish, or it might just look real bad. I got right here to the finish line and then I stopped. When in actuality, quality. Don't you want to be able to celebrate only? Ain't you tired, Hilly? Ain't you tired of constantly having to celebrate and clean up wounds and micromanage triggers in the midst of your celebration? Because for some of you, it's coming up that you have a lot of instances in your past where there's been times where it's time for you to celebrate something and you can't even focus on the simple celebration of it because it's people around you causing chaos and havoc, people around you trying to attack you. And so in those senses, you're trying to celebrate and trying to fight at the same time. You're trying to celebrate and you're trying to micromanage triggers all at the same time. And so Spirit is saying that that's a reflection. Those instances were mirroring to you a way that you handle yourself. Let yourself stop bleeding before you cross the finish line, because you deserve to receive your wins in peace. It is giving me the imagery and scenery of Tawanda Braxton specifically. It was shown recently on the Braxton show. Tawanda planning a wedding, and all in the midst of her trying to keep her wedding date as is. Honey, she done got hit by a car. Folks is getting sick and in the hospital. All types of stuff going on. And they started saying, Tawanda, don't you think you want to push it back? Tawanda, don't you think you want to reschedule it? Don't you think you want to do this and that? And Tawanda's like, no. I gotta get there. I gotta get to the altar. I gotta get to the altar on this specific day. Control issues. That's a form of control issues, and as you can hear in the way it's described, that's rooted in fear. Fear of, what if it doesn't happen on this day? What if it don't matter what day it happens on? You just know it's gonna happen. And as your spirit, your divine realm, the universe is gonna make sure that it happens for you. Especially if you're making sure that you're making you happen for you by tending to yourself, letting yourself rest, letting yourself recollect, regroup, rehabilitate, revitalize, giving yourself that time. Okay, not now doesn't mean not ever. So it's like stopping to take rest here and there doesn't mean that you're setting yourself back. And someone needs to break out of that mentality that resting is wasting time. Someone is needing to drastically break out of that mentality. And I'm hearing that this Mercury retrograde is going to help you break out of this. So do your best to channel and prioritize going with the flow. In this rest time, all at the same time, it can be soothingly productive, such as the Nine of Wands calls you to the action of no action, which redirects you to internal, somewhat intangible action. So it's the duality, the parallels of action and stillness. So to speak simplistically, you need to reevaluate where you are right now. This doesn't mean that you're doing anything wrong or that you have done anything wrong, okay? You just need to take inventory. How far have you come? What things do you have already harvested, already done now? What do you have that is almost fully harvested? And what is the true and actual quality of it? What wounds have you healed? What wounds are still healing? What are some things that you did right the first time? What did you have to have, multiple reps of until you got it right? The importance of taking this inventory is so that you can assure the greater quality of yourself and the next actions that you are about to take. You can assure the stability, the security of the trust that you have built and are building with yourself. You're tapping back in with your star player, okay? Your star player and your inner coach, as well as your inner God, your inner everything. And not only determining how it is connected with your physical self and your external being, but also hands-on, 1111 as I said that, but also hands-on, quote unquote, connecting your spiritual self with your physical self. Because these are the times, this Nine of Wands energy, and when you get to different times and places of Nine of Wands energy, it's for you to remind yourself and tap in with yourself for your own gratification. Because at this point in time, it's very easily, when you're in the Nine of Wands energy cycle stage, it's very easy to get distracted by feeling like you need external gratification. Someone to come in and tell you, hey, you did this good, you did that bad, you did this right, you did that wrong, and this is what you need to do to go forward. The Nine of Wands calls you to do that for yourself, because it calls that, if you don't, you end up in Ten of Wands energy, overpressuring yourself, having too much on your back, again, trying to fight off people, and one of your damn arms is trying to fall off. Okay? Amongst having everybody else's thoughts, opinions, and bullshit projected onto you at your most vulnerable state. And vulnerable doesn't mean weak. Vulnerable can also mean fertile, okay? So you want to more so kind of quantum leap to the Knight and Page of Wands energy, the duality of that, whereas again, delicate feminine activity. And in simple terms, making yourself a student in this moment, this stage of the process, so that everything naturally aligns and falls into the Queen and King of Wands alignment. Because the whole, and I used to be like this as a child, specifically, I would fall off of my bike, get the nastiest fucking wound, and just get up and keep going. Just get up and keep on bopping around, just hee ha ha, blood all pouring from everywhere, skin falling out. They like, girl, what the hell? Okay, and that type shit is also Knight of Wands in reverse energy, which can get you to also get into this long line and cycle of being hasty, which can lead to being arrogantly lashing out, which can lead to you arrogantly lashing out, because like I said, you put a lot of pressure on yourself and essentially overstimulate yourself. And so then in the midst of trying to adapt to whatever this new celebratory reasoning is, you freaking the fuck out, like someone trying to plan a wedding and they're not allowing themselves to remember the celebratory aspects of it, the rehabilitating aspects of it, the serene, loving aspects of it, how it's supposed to be making you and everyone feel. And in actuality, thinking about it in the sense of planning a wedding, if it's working you up that bad, you are doing too fucking much and you need to take a pause. Okay, you need to step back and reevaluate what you're doing, why you're doing it, and who you're doing it for. And constantly, why? Because whether you can discern it on the surface or not, when you are planning stuff, the energy that you pour into the process of planning comes out in the celebration. People will come to the celebration and they can feel the stress that you went through. They can feel the stress that you've poured, that you've watered your process with. whether they can put their finger on it specifically, it is sensed within the celebration. And this is also how senseless conflict can be manifested in the celebrations as well, because you may have facilitated some form of senseless conflict even within yourself throughout your process of planning your celebration. You have to be cognizant of what you're pouring into your process. Just like, of course, plants have to be watered, right? But you don't just put any type of water on any type of plant. All of them don't, receive the same amount of water. Some of them need, special substances added to their water, and or they just grow best and bloom best with certain types of substances and stuff added to their water, added to the soils and things of that nature. So again, be soulfully discerning of what you're pouring into your process. And so, like I said, this is the energy of the Nine of Wands. That's the call to action and or no action of the Nine of Wands. To stop and smell the flowers, check their leaves, check the thorns, reevaluate them roots, okay? Because it's not time to pull them up yet. It's time to just stop, observe them, appreciate them, thank them for how far they've come, and see what better can be poured into them in order to make sure that when it is time to uproot them, okay, and embrace them fully for their entire purpose, that it is of the best divinely designed quality, okay? Now, this is a collective message, so I did not speak too, personal or specific to anything, but like just understand too the parallels. That's a huge concept of the number 1111, the parallels. 11 is literally parallel lines. And so 1111 is 4 parallel lines, like the 4 of Wands. So that 4 of Wands energy is radiating through here, especially as many times as I said celebrate, celebratory, right? Okay, so, honey, much like one of the channel messages that I had posted, I think I had just posted it on my Instagram, but it concerned November having to do with a lot of like seesaw energy, where it feels like you're going backwards and forward at the same time. So this is both dual and cognitive dissonance energy. You have to decide for yourself what you are going to commit to and what you are going to let lead you. Are you functioning in duality, or are you operating in cognitive dissonance? There is a difference, all right? And when we talk about, I gave a reference of a wedding being planned, but understand what a wedding is, right? A wedding is a celebratory, ritualistic ceremony, love ceremony specifically. So understand that anything that you celebrate, it should be considered sacred. Not just weddings, not just funerals. Whatever it is that you are celebrating for yourself, you should treat it as though it is sacred. Okay? Treat it as if it is a ritualistic, celebratory love ceremony. And so with that, we have to remember and or open ourselves up to discover what true love and celebration actually feels like. Because, and what I'm hearing too in this card is trying to break us free, this energy of this card in this portal is trying to break us free from cognitive dissonance. Because some people think that they thrive on chaos and they don't. Not in actuality. And the quality of what you're getting ain't been so good, but you keep thinking you thrive on chaos. You need all that chaos to get you going and excited. No, you don't. Your nervous system has been in shambles from that shit, and you think that that's how it's supposed to be, but no, you're just used to it. Certain parts of your system has just been used to finding the joy, fighting for the joy and the peace amongst chaos. But it don't have to be that hard. You deserve your blessings to come without the disguise, unveiled. But do you know that? Do you believe that? Do you truly trust yourself to receive it and honor it? And I believe it's about that time where I remind y'all, you give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. You teach a man a fish, he'll eat for a lifetime. Y'all go fishing, baby. And with all that being said, child, if I do say so myself, honey, I have milked this cow dry. And I am thoroughly appreciative for the exchange of vibes. And if you feel synchronized, please do me a divine design and like, share, and subscribe, so that you can be one of the first to be back through these queenly falls the next time. And be sure to bless that comment section with your questions and conversations. And as always, I bid you in all ways, light, love, healing, and liberation. Emphasis on liberation. Mwah.